Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. New class changes are on the horizon for the next reset of Dragonflight, focused on further class improvements. For raids and dungeons, we're seeing quite a bit of an overall tune-up, which focuses on improving the performance of certain tanking playstyles, and seeks to close the damage disparity between classes like mages, hunters, rogues, and many others. This week we also get even more PvP specific changes, though this list of updates focuses on depowering certain specs which have found themselves overperforming, and in some cases overshadowing all others, which could shake up the competitive field going forward. In today's video, I wanted to go over the most impactful class changes arriving to Dragonflight the next Tuesday, Wednesday regional reset. But right before we get into the set of Dragonflight updates, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you are mine, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding all of the newest Dragonflight updates and changes going forward. The first spec scene changes is the stalwart Blood Death Knight, which is gaining 8% additional damage all across the board. While not the most exciting update, it is an important one. Blood Death Knight's performance has fallen behind most other tanks, and are unable to keep up in single target or AoE encounters. Additional damage gives their attacks a bit more weight, which helps them contribute more to group-wide damage, and maintain the relevant aggro when it comes to wrestling with the DPS classes bursting in dungeons. Fereldra's tier set is getting a bit of a buff this week, with the 2 set less likely to reset on its agility stacks with every Shadows of the Predator proc, leaving with longer agility buff uptime. With the 4 set, when your shadow stacks eventually are consumed, you will gain even more agility in return, which means more stats that will lead to more overall damage improvements. Preservation Evoker's main role is to heal their allies, but sometimes when everyone is healthy, it is best to stay vigilant and avoid overcapping on your combat resources. To avoid capping essence, which is mostly used for healing, Evokers would rather spend it on Disintegrate to deal damage to an enemy target. This reset, Disintegrate gains additional 50% more damage to make the ability a lot more valuable to cast without having to necessarily spec into the energy loop synergy. Then we have a smaller buff for the spec of Beast Mastery Hunter, with all their attacks and pet abilities improved by 5%, which lets Beast Mastery catch up to Marksmanship and Survival's performance, which is notably behind in pure single-target encounters. Fire Mage is another spec seeing a sizable damage increase, with Pyroblast buffed by 5%. Fireblast, Fireball, Phoenix Flames, and Scorch also gain 10% additional damage, which helps them out in single target, but will also improve their AoE performance, since all single target damage Fire Mage deals will build up into a burn of Ignite, which can then be easily spread to nearby targets. Brewmaster Monk is another tank set to make additional gains, with the Rising Sun Kick buffed by 10%. Blackout Kick and Tiger Palm are both buffed by 30%, with all other base abilities improved by 3% on top of it, which helps Brewmasters close that gap, especially when comparing themselves to every other tanking playstyle. Mistweavers also gain 3% additional healing increase, though none of the healer buffs will apply for PvP. Next we have Rogues, with Assassination set to gain 5% additional damage. While the buff is rather small, it should help them inch out ahead of the competition, likely becoming one of the better rogue specs in pure single target damage encounters under the ideal conditions. The spec of Arms Warrior has not been performing up to the current standard, so they're gaining even more buffs as well. Fatality Marks damage is being increased by a whopping 15%. The periodic damage of bleeds like Deep Wounds and Rend is also being improved by 5%, with all other base abilities increased by 4%. The final tank spec to gain even more buffs this week is Protection Warrior, with all their auto attacks improved by 10%, buffed further by the talent of Devastator passive, with every other ability effect increased by 8% as well. Protection Warrior's survivability also sees further improvements, with the talent of Spell Block gaining a 30-second duration. Thunderlord talent will also allow for faster recovery of Demo Shout, which becomes even more potent, especially when versed against a low number of enemy targets. Next, we have another list of changes which will impact how our classes will perform in the Dragonflight PvP content, things like War Mode, Battlegrounds, as well as rated arenas, starting with the spec of Balanced Druid. Balanced resource generation within PvP is a tad too high, so abilities like Moonfire and Sunfire Astral Generation, Stellar Innervation, and the Star Burst Astral Power region are all being impacted this reset. The Alkin Adept PvP talent has proven to be too good in way too many situations, so its cast time reductions are being lessened as well. Balanced Druid PvP bursts can be sometimes a tad too spiky, so to help reduce the unexpected PvP burst damage, Goldrin's Fang is being lessened by 50%, though some power is being given back to abilities like Wrath and Starfire to keep their damage consistency. Marksman's performance in PvP is a tad behind every other playstyle, so they're being set up with brand new buffs as of this reset, where abilities like Aim Shot, Rapid Fire, and Arcane Shot gain 10 and 11% damage increase to help bring their numbers slightly up. Discipline Priests have become too reliant on shields when protecting their allies within PvP. To lessen this reliance, Atonement Healing is being increased by 10%, which promotes a more aggressive healing playstyle. Both Power Word Shield as well as the PvP talent of Inner Light's mana cost reduction are being reduced in this most recent update. Fire Mages, which play the talent of Glass Cannon, are meant to feel more powerful but also more vulnerable, and the current version of Flame Cannon helps mitigate Glass Cannon's downsides, removing its threatening factor. Glass Cannon is meant to have some drawbacks, so its health reduction is being increased. Flame Cannon's health buff is being downgraded to help keep Glass Cannon more risky. Mistweaver Monk's dominance has not really been shaken that much in Season 2, so to help reduce the overall impact a bit, Soulfang Infusion tier set mana regen is being reduced by 25%. Enveloping Mist's healing is being overall reduced by 15%, and Monk's mana regeneration is being lessened by 5 additional percent. The current version of Enhancement Shaman has a propensity to eliminate the targets in a blink of an eye. Their damage is being reworked a bit to lessen this one-shot factor going forward. Everything from Forceful Winds, Lava Lash, and the related talents are being reduced by up to 33%. The damage amp of physical and elemental effects from Feral Spirits is also being decreased, but the damage of Storm Strike and Wind Strike is being buffed slightly to help them maintain more consistent PvP damage output. Restoration Shaman's Rain Dance talent has not worked out as expected, so its overall effect is being increased to make it a more lucrative option. If you've been terrorized by rogues over the last few weeks, then you'll be happy to hear that Subtlety is seeing new nerfs with this reset. First of all, Secret Technique damage is being nerfed by roughly 12%. The Shadow Strike and Backstab double damage from Weapon Master is also being cut back to be less bursty. Flagellation's Mastery bonus is being heavily reduced by 80%. And Dark Shadow's burst effectiveness will only be 67% of its initial value. Then we have the class of Warlock. First of all, the passive damage of Inquisitor's Gaze is a bit tad too strong for PvP, so its damage impact is being reduced by 40%. Next, Amplifying Curse is also a bit too punishing when used against enemy players, so its cooldown is being reworked to slightly offset the debuff potential. Affliction Warlocks gain 50% more damage towards Unstable Affliction Dispel effect to make the backlash a lot more painful, and Shadowbolt gains 30% additional damage within PvP. Destruction Warlock's instant cast damage is still also effective, so its damage of Conflagration and Shadowburn is being lessened to make the spec less scary while moving. Demonology healing reduction from the pet's Legion Strike is one of the stronger healing reduction effects in the game. It has a high uptime and can be applied to multiple targets easily, which gives Demonology insane PvP pressure. The healing reduction is being reduced by 5% in overall to make it slightly less powerful while keeping it easy to maintain. Also, just like Affliction, Shadowbolt is being buffed by 30% for Demonology as well. I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video and hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. as per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.